My dear Pepper. I love anyone whose name is Pepper. Wears all black, quite appropriately. You'll have to take, by the way, Pepper. I know it's hard to take whatever I'm saying here, but you'll just have to try to take me and my personality with...
Okay, I take you with a grain of salt. So you say that you have great hope for humanity.
Yes, dear. I love me.
He can't get over that grain of salt. So when people say that exponentially...
Oh, wow. I've waited a month to hear somebody use that word in a sentence. Yes, go ahead.
This is happening very fast.
Yes, it's happening not on a 1, 2, 3, 4 basis, but a 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 basis. That is what's happening. Yes, go on.
So there is hope that within 30 years?
Enormous hope, and that's exactly the amount of time that was predicted in Tomorrow's God, which says that within 30 years we will create a whole new experience of God, of life, and of each other in the next 30 years. And that figure, by the way, is based on a tenfold increase in the speed with which we tend to reinvent ourselves. The last great reinvention of humanity by humanity was called the what? Somebody's saying it. Say it out loud. Of course. The Renaissance, which was a 300-year period of time in which everything changed. The way we do governance changed. The way we do commerce changed. The way we do art and education changed. Everything changed dramatically in that 300-year period called the Renaissance, which included inside of it an interesting social development called the Reformation, which changed everything about religion. That happened over a period of roughly 300 years. We are told in the new book, in the book Tomorrow's God, we are told that the new spirituality will emerge in 1/10 the time, owing to the extraordinary increase in our ability to communicate with each other about each other. That is, the experience and the characteristic of instantaneosity. Instantaneosity. The ability to instantaneously communicate and know about each other will reduce the time lag from start to finish of the process of reorganizing the human species into a new race basing its experience on a new cultural story. Roughly 30 years, that 30-year period has begun. This movement is part of it. And you are part of it. Unless you're not.
I just wanted to say I'm from Bellevue, Washington.
I've been there.
I bet. And I went to the library to check out the CDs of Conversations with God while I drove up here. And there were 38 people waiting to get the CD of Book 1, which goes to show to me how fast your word is spreading.
Tells me to need more CDs in that library.
That's right.
But the point is still well made. It could be a CD for which only 2 people are waiting. So the point is still well made. And that's true. Although I would quarrel with just a couple of ways you phrase that. It's not how fast my word or my work is spreading, but God's word and the new gospel. This is, dare I say it, the new gospel. That's what we're talking about. That's why one of the last books was called The New Revelations. See, very powerful material here. This is the new gospel. The new spirituality. I was asked on the Today Show, Neil, can you define the new spirituality? Yes, I said. The new spirituality is a way for us to express our natural impulse toward the divine without making anyone else wrong for the way in which they are doing it. Yes.
I just want to say that I'm pretty sure that I came here to be a part of the new revolution, the leadership.
Yes.
I want to know what do I need to do to get on board? I don't know if anybody else feels this.
Where do you will find. We'll tell you tonight. We'll talk about the 17 steps to being happier than God, but the last half hour or so, the last 30 or 40 minutes of the evening is reserved for Neil's special pitch. Information about what you can do. And when I'm through, you will have avenues of expression, as Auntie Mame said to Patrick Dennis. I have ways of showing you things that you never dreamed existed. Yeah, there'll be opportunities to do that. The School of the New Spirituality is one. Humanities Team is another. The Work of the Conversation with God Foundation is a third. The Group of 1,000 is a fourth. And whatever you choose to do on your own is a fifth. It'll all be described. Thanks for asking the question. Anybody else before dinner? Yes, my dear. Did you have a question, Bonnie? Oh, okay. I thought you saw your hand up. Yes, sir.
You had just mentioned that the information you were talking about hadn't come from you, it had come from God. How would you respond to those who would say you're simply trying to negate your responsibility for any chaos your information causes by saying God said it?
Say you're right.
I'm not trying to be sarcastic with that question. It's a sincere question.
No one's ever asked me anything quite like that, but if they did, if they said, are you trying to negate responsibility, I would say, no, I'm trying to simply declare the truth. The truth is, this came to me from God. That's the truth. That's my truth. And as to negating responsibility, it's not something that I would choose to do. I stand responsible for everything I've said and written, and always will. I've traveled the world over, now 7 times. I've been to almost every major city of the world, and from Mexico to Russia, from Japan to South America, I mean everywhere. From the steps of Machu Picchu to Red Square in Moscow to Tiananmen Square in Beijing. I was arrested in China and almost thrown in jail for talking about God. Almost didn't get out. I came into the meeting demanding the Red Guard came in. I'm not kidding. This is a true story. With their little, they don't wear red, by the way. They wear gray uniforms with a little gold star on a red band on the top and a little red armband with a hammer and sickle. And they come in and they said, what is that banner across the front? Because the people who had brought me there, they snuck me into China to do a meeting, and somebody squealed, and in came the Red Guard. And they put a banner on the front of the room that says Conversations with God. But it was written in Korean, because most of my audience was Korean. When I went to China, I went to the northernmost province of China. So the guys came in, couldn't read Korean. They wanted to know, what does that banner say? It says, welcome to the room. Boy, we tore that banner down fast. Anyway, long story. I almost didn't get out of China. If they hadn't been electing, in 2 weeks later, taking an election for the Olympics, where the Olympics are going to be, which they're not going to be in China, they would have imprisoned me for sure. But they didn't want to have an international incident with a worldwide best-selling author thrown in jail 2 weeks before the International Olympic Committee was going to vote on where to hold the Olympics. Like, not quite a signal that this is a safe country. So they let me go. But they did say to us, it would be really good for us if you chose not to come back. And I'm not going back. But it was fun. No, I'll stand responsible for everything that